Hello. As I'm sure you've read the title, this is a very strange story. One may even call it one of the soldier's horror stories. You know, the kind where the soldier usually tells about a scary thing that happened to them on a mission or a deployment. Well, this isn't one of these stories. Well, not to me at least. I will go on to say that the events were real, and you may take what I have to say about it any way you like. But, where to begin? It started in Korea. It was the middle of winter, and still the beginning of the year. So, naturally, it was -degree weather outside. I was still quite new, and it was my first duty station. My first actual duty station. I'd never entered or exited a Bradley before in my life, and I was still quite new to it all. So naturally, I was nervous. I looked around the Bradley and noticed that my squad had already fallen asleep. While we were out patrolling, I knew we had time left over, so while we had about 4 hours to get to our objective, I figured I'd just follow the group and just fall asleep like everyone else did. And so I did. And the dreams finally began. At the minute I least expected them. And so began my dream. I dreamt that apparently a world had ended in some kind of apocalyptic event. And in this post-apocalyptic place, me and 3 other cohorts were looking around for a metro station. Because in this post-apocalyptic world, metro stations were never touched by whatever had affected each city beforehand. So one could still use these metro railways to get from one place to another, perfectly safe, perfectly unharmed. So while exploring and searching around, we managed to find what we were finally looking for in this old ruined building. I volunteered to go have a look around inside, and when I did, I expected resistance, but surprisingly, met none of any kind. It was this moment when I noticed a dark group of stairs going downwards to a basement sublevel in the very corner of the building. While I proceeded down these dark flight of stairs, I finally noticed the metro station still perfectly intact, with one car never even touched. Nobody there, no lines, no people, nothing. Just pure emptiness. Nothing but emptiness. I glanced in great awe of the ghostly apparition of this train. Just the sight of it. Pure emptiness, but still working and reliable. It gave me shivers down my spine. But I knew I had to discover where this train eventually led out. It's what we do. We had to mark all the places of these trains. Someone has to explore them all. Or at least as far as the dream went, anyway. But back to the story. I then proceeded to enter the train. There was a bright light, and then suddenly I passed out inside the train. and fell lully to sleep. Some of the best sleep I had had, it felt like. Suddenly, everything faded into this white color, as if a bright light had been shining on me the entire way, and all I could see was the front view of the front rail car, just peering into the tunnel. And these words, all the words that appeared above my eyes, coming straight from the white light in front of me. One by one, I could read them out, and together they said, "Just one chance in the light." What did these words mean? Was it some phrase? Why was I seeing them? As I just continued to listen to the sound of the railway just going along the tracks, everything then just faded into black, and suddenly I was out again. When I finally came to, I noticed I was standing in front of a hotel with a nice fountain feature in front. When I looked around, I noticed one of my best friends was standing next by the fountain. I asked her if everything was alright, and I hadn't seen her in a while, so I asked how everything was, how she was doing. She replied everything was alright, and she asked me to do a favor. Apparently she had forgotten her bags back in her room with the rest of her family. I gladly told her I'd go get them and I'd be back shortly. So, as I entered the hotel, I passed the lobby and made my way to her room, which was the one down the hallway with the only door that was open. As I was going down the hallway, I noticed all of my friends were everywhere to be seen in the hotel. Every one of them. Everyone I knew. I was just baffled and boggled and confused. How in the world did they get here? All of my friends. Every one of them. Everyone. Shaking it off, I managed to go in the room, grab my friends' bags, and head out the door. When suddenly, all the noise from everyone talking suddenly turned to silence. As everything grew quiet, I glanced around. No one was down the hallway. No one was in the lobby. Suddenly, I realized I was the only one to myself. Everyone was just gone. Disappeared. I immediately ran outside, bags in hand, just wanting to give them back to my friend and head on. As soon as I got to the fountain, though, she herself was also gone. And then I looked down. Her bags even disappeared in my hands. Just vanished without a trace. Almost instantly, and then I suddenly came to the conclusion I had been talking to ghosts. Everyone was not really there. Everyone was dead. As soon as I realized this, everything just faded right into darkness. And as soon as I came to, I was standing right in front of the train I'd left. It looks like I never even went inside of it. Matter of fact, I never even touched it. I never even went near it. I was still maybe about 20 feet away, just standing in awe of the train. Getting back to my senses, I immediately turned around and ran up those stairs, running immediately back to my cohorts, scared out of my wits. When I finally found my cohorts, I asked them a very strange question. I asked them, has anyone else ever been known to go in this building before? They replied, we heard that there was someone before who went in there and lost their mind. And then shortly after this, the dream had ended, and I woke up in the Bradley with the order to dismount. So, imagine that going into a damn little simulated combat zone. Just waking up from a scary dream and then, well, having the adrenaline rush of getting shot at, just hitting you all at once, not knowing what the hell to think. Well, take it as you want it. To this day, I still don't know why I had that dream, or why I remember it. And I still don't dream a lot, but when I do, I know to take the advice from my dreams wisely. So maybe I was to learn something from all this. Maybe. Just maybe.